But my God, Perk, how do you give me context to something we've never seen before?
Well, Scott, let me say this. That was one of the greatest individual performances I've ever seen with my own two eyes. Okay.
Nikola Jokic is one of one. I mean, the first player to ever have a 30, 20, and 20 game. I can't describe him, so don't ask me to.
Nikola, it's a 30, 20, 20. No one's ever done it. I mean, like, you make it look easy. Tim Legler, who's calling the game, says, I've never seen anything like it.
People were literally begging Nikola Jokic to show some kind of emotion after what he did on March 7, 2025 against the Phoenix Suns. But how could he? Only humans had emotions, and what he did that day showed that he wasn't human, but was a basketball god. In that game, the Joker recorded the first ever 30-20-20 game in league history, setting the NBA world on fire. But it wasn't just the numbers that made it impressive. That's only half the picture. So, what is the full picture? And will this ever be replicated? Well, first off, Nikola Jokic came into the league at a time when the NBA was obsessed with physical dominance and, later, three-point shooting. The superstars were either big and powerful or fast and incredibly sharp shooters. The league had no room for a player who looked out of condition, was slow, and had questionable motor skills. Even Jokic himself jokes about it now. He's admitted before that he probably wouldn't have drafted himself either. And that's what makes his rise feel almost impossible. Because Jokic didn't overcome those weaknesses by turning into a great athlete. He never became faster than everybody. He never became stronger than everybody. He never started jumping out of the gym. Instead, he started seeing basketball differently than everybody else. And that's a very huge difference because, take for instance Michael Jordan. When he wanted to take control and defeat the Pistons, he had to get bigger, faster, and stronger. But somehow, Jokic went the other way that nobody knew existed. In 2017, he made the NBA fear him when he went nuclear against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Screen and roll with the Joker. Good bounce pass. Extra pass. Will Barton for three. Bam! Charlotte yesterday for Spencer Hawes and Roy Hibbert. Now Jokic lets it fly, and that's good. 2 minutes for the Joker. And an interception. Count the steal. Long lead to Murray. And he puts it away. Joker's got it. Pass it into Fareed. It's a beauty.
After that game, the Joker only continued to get better with time until eventually he became a 3-time MVP, an NBA champion, and a Finals MVP. But the scary part wasn't that Jokic was succeeding. The scary part was that the NBA still couldn't fully explain how he was doing it. And then came the game against Phoenix. By the time the Denver Nuggets faced the Phoenix Suns in 2025, Jokic was already one of the most statistically dominant players the league had ever seen. At that point, voter fatigue had set in, and they didn't want to give him the MVP again. But no one had any idea that Jokic was about to do something that was even harder than winning an MVP. And early in the game, you could already feel something strange building.
Jokic to Watson with a no-look pass. That's back to Jokic. Spinning, kept the pivot foot down. Gordon's three, got another one.
That's what makes Jokic terrifying when he reaches this level. The game stops feeling fast around him. Everybody else looks rushed while he looks completely relaxed, almost like he's playing at a different speed from everyone else on the court. As the game kept going, Phoenix slowly started realizing they weren't dealing with a normal hot streak anymore. They were watching basketball history happen in real time.
Seconds to go, Murray moving left, fires to Jokic in the lane, kick out Brown, open three, hit it! Christian Brown with a second left. It's a rebound right there if they score here. And they will! Jokic with assist number 20.
The scary part was how effortless it all looked until the game was over and we realized this wasn't just a great game or another triple-double. We had just witnessed the first 30-20-20 game in NBA history. A double triple-double in one game. A stat line so ridiculous that people were trying to force human reaction from someone that just showed everyone that he was a basketball god.
Well, it's a 30, 20, 20. No one's ever done it. I mean, like, you make it look easy. Tim Legler, who's calling the game, says, I've never seen anything like it.
A stat line that would drive most players insane was just another good game for the Joker because he had become completely comfortable with breaking basketball. But how is it that someone like him could set such a record in the NBA? I mean, throughout basketball history, there has always been ways to explain greatness. Wilt Chamberlain overwhelmed people with impossible athletic dominance. Magic Johnson transformed playmaking. Shaq destroyed teams with physical force. LeBron controlled every aspect of the game through power and intelligence combined. But Jokic is like none of them. That's why players, coaches, and analysts always sound slightly confused when they try describing him. Even after years of dominance, it still feels like the basketball world is trying to process how someone built like Jokic can completely control professional games at this level. After the Suns game, Coach Michael Malone didn't even want to try to explain it.
Nikola Jokic is one of one. I mean, the first player to ever have a 30, 20, and 20 game. I can't describe him, so don't ask me to. And when you are one of one in this league and the tremendous history of this league, that says a lot.
So far, that's the only way to explain Nikola, because basketball has never produced another player like this before. The NBA has seen elite passing big men. It has seen dominant rebounders. It has seen efficient scorers. But nobody has ever combined all of those things together the way Jokic does while making the game look this controlled. And even the haters have no choice but to start giving their flowers.
But my God, Perk, how do you give me context to something we've never seen before?
Well, Scott, let me say this. That was one of the greatest individual performances I've ever seen with my own two eyes, okay? And look, let me say, I grew up watching Hakeem, the Dream Olajuwon. I grew up watching David Robinson. I grew up watching Shaquille O'Neal. I've never seen or witnessed anything like this.
That reaction matters because Kendrick Perkins isn't comparing Jokic to average players. He's comparing him to Hakeem, David Robinson, and Shaq, some of the greatest big men who have ever lived. And even then, he still says he has never seen anything like this, because nobody has. Not a center orchestrating offense like an all-time point guard. Not a player putting up 30, 20, 20 while controlling every possession. Not someone dominating the modern NBA almost entirely through IQ, timing, angles, and touch. Teammate Christian Brown also echoed the same sentiments after that game.
You know, he's just one of a kind. I feel like you'll never see something like this ever again. Ever. There'll never be a player that does the things he does night in and night out.
And honestly, that's what March 7, 2025 really became. Not just the night Nikola Jokic made history, the night basketball officially admitted it had never seen a player like him before, and probably never will. Which leads us to the next issue. Is there a chance someone replicates what Jokic did that day? A 30-20-20 game isn't just a historic stat line. It is proof that Jokic has reached a level of basketball control the league has never seen before. 30 points alone is superstar production. 20 rebounds alone can dominate a game. 22 assists should belong to elite guards handling the ball every possession. And somehow, Jokic combined all of them into one performance. It was a wild achievement for a human being, and so they expected Joker to go wild for it. But no matter what, he just wasn't human enough to show the emotion.
I realize that you're a man that is often not impressed with what he does. But what you just did has never been done in the history of the game. But do you appreciate, for those of us watching it, we're just kind of shaking our heads?
Thank you guys.
It's insanity. In addition to putting up the first 30-20-20 game in NBA history, it's his second career game with at least 25, 20, and 15.
He was just being a basketball god. But when you really think about it, it's hard to imagine someone else who can actually replicate this. Yes, there are incredible talents across the league now, and we still have superstars like Giannis who dominate physically. There's Luka who controls pace and playmaking, but none of them combine scoring, rebounding, and orchestration from the center position the way Jokic does. The only player who even feels remotely capable of approaching something this unique is Victor Wembanyama. because Wemby is the only other player in basketball who makes people question what a human being is even supposed to look like on a court. The size, the coordination, the mobility, the skill set, it almost feels alien at times. But even then, Wembanyama's greatness looks completely different. Wemby overwhelms you with physical impossibility. Jokic overwhelms you with mental control. At the end of the day, the thing is, what Jokic is doing should not exist in basketball, because basketball was never designed for a player like this. Traditionally, big men controlled the paint, guards controlled the offense, wings controlled the perimeter. Every position had limitations. Every role had boundaries. Now, Jokic has erased those boundaries completely. And that's why the Suns game felt bigger than just one night. It felt like basketball reaching another evolutionary point. And if you want to see another player who took basketball to another evolutionary point, watch the day Steph Curry showed everyone he's a basketball god next.